waters of the river, for the Most High then showed them signs, them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half. So it took them a year and a half to get over here to America. And same region is called Azareth. Azareth meaning unknown land. Because at this time, America was unknown. The so-called the Northern Kingdom, the Hispanics, they haven't came over here yet. So that shows you how the Southern Kingdom, the Northern Kingdom was the first to leave. They went into Assyria, then they came over here. Then the Southern Kingdom was left over in Jerusalem. Then Titus and Vespasian came in 70 AD. Then we fled into Africa. Then later on, we came into slavery over here. Now we're all back here together for the gathering. Now we're all back here at one for the gathering.
Fascinating.
You know, so.
Now,
go ahead. I'm done with that.
All right, and now this will also speak on the other Hispanic people that live off on the island. This is the same page, man. It says, it is in the second book that Duran, citing the many similarities, stated emphatically his conclusion regarding the natives of the Indies and the mainland of this new world, that they are Jews and Hebrew people. His theory was confirmed. He wrote, by their nature, these natives are part of the 10 tribes of Israel, which Shalmaneser, king of the Assyrians, captured and took to Assyria. His reports of conversation with old Indians elicited tribal traditions of a time where there had been men of monstrous stature who appeared into possession of the country. And these giants now haven't found a way to reach the sun. This is just them going into their this is how people going off. That's why the Most High put them back in slavery. Decided to build a tower so high that its summit will reach unto heaven. Such an episode paralleling the biblical tale of the Tower of Babel matched in significance another tale of an Exodus-like migration.
So, but that being said, the northern tribe, the Hispanics, they went off when they started worshiping, you know, the sun and start doing all those things. So the Lord sent the Spaniards over here to put them in slavery. Then bam, we went off. So the Lord sent the so-called white man over there to put us in slavery. Now the main point is that we went into slavery. Our punishment is over with. So the Lord is giving us back our identity, waking us back up to who we are. America's going down. Just like he played ancient Egypt, this is spiritually Egypt all over again. He's going to plague it. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to plague it, then he's going to deliver us out of it.
This is going to be the greatest exodus, ever, because the whole world's going to see our exodus.
Yeah. And this now, with that being said, we done showed you that. Now I'm going to read this. The Lord prophesied of this. Revelations 2:9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty. Now he say, I know that works in tribulation and poverty. Those Jews, they're not in poverty. They own
international bankers.
Yeah, I know.
Bankers.
I'm familiar with it.
Exactly. So he say, I know the poverty. So they don't fit that. But thou art rich, meaning we have the promises to the kingdom of heaven. He said, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are synagogues of Satan.
Right.
Behold, I will make them the synagogues of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and know that I have loved thee.
Right.
So the Lord prophesied. He said he know those people that say they are Jews but are not. Because we're not going around saying we're Jews. We're just waking up to it.
Yes,
you know. So the people that's going around saying they're Jews, he said he know they're not Jews. Because if you really do the research on those people, they come from an empire, what's called the Khazarian Empire. Yep. Around by the 8th and 9th century, they converted to Judaism. They went down in that land in 1942. They was established, right? And then they took upon those customs and claimed to be those people, you know, after we left out of it.
That's interesting.
And the way they were put into that land, they were put into that land by money. Like the FBI and the CIA, they actually.
You mean in the 40s and 50s? Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the Zionist movement and all that in the 40s and 50s.
But the Most High said, when we're redeemed, we're not going to be.
I study a little bit too much for my own good. That's why when I saw that, I was like, I gotta ask. This is why.
He led you here too.
I think she, Lord willing,
I think
Hispanic,
I think she was Spanish.
I hope so.
Well, another word, northern tribe. This is Isaiah chapter 52. I'm gonna say verse 2. Shake thyself from the dust. All this confusion. And this dust everywhere. Somebody, you know, in a dirt road and you can't see nothing. So we're brushing the dust off our face and now we're able to see. Arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Lose thyself from the bands of thy neck, from this mental captivity that we're in right now. So we're not in physical bondage anymore. O captive daughter of Zion, for thus saith the Lord, ye have sold yourselves for naught, and you shall be redeemed without money. So when we get back into our land, we're not going to need the FDIC. We're going to have the Heavenly Father, His angels, and His Son with King David. They're going to put us back in our land.
Oh, and this is something out of the Apocrypha, prophecy, that show you, like, the Jews, they don't fit this. Now this is Baruch, chapter 2, verse 29. If ye will hear my voice, surely this is very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. And that's what we're doing right now. We were brought here on slavery, so this is the land of our captivity, and we're remembering ourselves. And it says, and shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear, which He's giving you now. He says, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity. And we do that every day. It says, and think upon my name, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which sent before the Lord. So that's why we came into slavery, because we went off from this. We stopped practicing these customs. So the Lord said, we got to pay for our sins of our forefathers. So that's why we had to go in slavery. But now He's waking us up and bringing us back to our heritage.
Right.
And it says, I'm going to read this one. I like this one. You were sold unto the nations, not for your destruction. Now, was we not sold? When was those Jews ever sold?
Right.
Never. It says, but because you moved God to wrath, ye were delivered unto your enemies. For ye provoked Him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to God. So, like He said, if you will not obey these words that I speak unto you, all these curses shall come upon you. That's why we in the dumps, and that's why we went into slavery, because we didn't obey the laws and the scriptures. And right now our people are still not obeying, because we don't got Negroes, Latinos, and not out here listening to us.
Right.
They just stiff-necked people that's spoken of in the Bible, because they stiff-necked, you know.
This is another one too.
Go ahead, bro.
Isaiah chapter 42 verse 24. Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord?
Exactly.
He against whom we have sinned, but they would not walk in His ways, neither were they obedient unto His law.
So that's why we went into slavery.
Therefore He hath poured upon him the fury of His anger, and the strength of battle, and He hath set him on the fire round about. Yet he knew not. Our people still don't know. They still don't understand that why we went into slavery is because of us going off, and they still don't want to get it right.
So you guys are out here calling people back to righteousness, basically.
Calling them back,
essentially.
Calling them back to their heritage, man. So come back to the Most High, man, before He destroyed Egypt, man.
He's gonna destroy
Egypt all over again.
This is a warning. This is no different than Noah warning the people in the old days. They mocked at him, laughed at him, but when that day came, when the rain started coming, He shut those doors up and they were knocking. You know. Now
this is a good one right here. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. They came against us from far, all the way on the other side of the world. From the end of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth. It says, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We don't understand English. It says, a nation fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. They didn't do that. They showed our babies the alligator face.
Right.
In the bottom right there.
The live picture.
He said they show not no favor to the young. So we got to think, why all that happened to us? If we read if our people was to read the scriptures, they would know why all these atrocities happened.
Well, I think here's the problem is that I think a lot of times when people read the Bible, they've been ingrained with certain messages and certain meanings associated with different words from the time they were very little, very young. So I think, like for me, I'm the type of person I got to a place where I question what things mean, and apart from, because I was raised Methodist, I just went to a Methodist church for the first time in 30 years. So I was raised Methodist, and so there's certain things that I was, as a young child, ingrained with associating meanings with words. So I think what happens with people when they read the Bible and they read stuff like that, they automatically assume that there's certain meanings to certain words, and if you don't look deeper, if you don't research it, you'll never know. And honestly, most people are just trying to keep a roof over their head and keep food in their stomach. To be able to research and study the Bible to the degree and depth that you guys have. I mean, that it's a luxury to be able to do that. It really is.
I mean, 'cause
there's a lot of
all
people.
through this book
Oh
and-
yeah,
and-
that's amazing.
and
I've
show you
never.
stuff, man.
Yeah, I've never heard that before. And that's really,
It was the
that's
hidden
awesome.
truth. Well, the Lord made us. Let me get one more scripture.
I believe. I mean, you know, and it's like, for example, the image that you have over here. If you know anything about that particular territory in Israel and in that region, people are naturally going to be dark skinned. Period. People are. I mean, that's just bottom line. It's just a fact. It's a fact, Jack.
The Garden of Eden was in Iraq.
So even though this is
The
a
Bible-
popular,
the Bible
this is a
shows
popular
you how he
image.
looks.
Yeah, I know.
That's how he looks.
See, I can.
He
I
has
personally don't
hair
have.
like wool.
Yeah.
See, this right here is the actual man that lived.
We got a history on this man.
That's Cesar
His
Borgia.
name is Cesar Borgia.
He's the son of Rodrigo Borgia.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They even
I'm
have a
actually
special-
familiar with that. They,
The first crime family.
the Romans, when they first began drawing
At the Renaissance.
images of
Resurrection,
Jesus,
Renaissance.
they
Iconoclasm, that's what they call it.
Iconoclasm.
they did
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they
yeah.
did so after the images of people and families, and I'm actually familiar with that too. I'm familiar with it quite a bit apparently.
Hey, that's good though. If you go to
That's why for me, Jesus, I don't worship Jesus in an image necessarily, you know, more so as an idea. And furthermore, I don't necessarily worship Jesus, I worship God. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Well, he's a mediator.
He is the mediator.
Right,
You gotta go
exactly,
through him to
exactly,
get to the
exactly,
Father.
right, and
But
that's
he's the Most High doing away with us.
exactly.
And
that's what I mean, exactly.
And that's why he done away with us. He turned his back from us and led us to the hands of our enemies. So if it weren't for the one who he called Jesus,
that's fact. Yeah, that's fact, Jack, right there. I've studied that.
yeah. So if it weren't for the one who he called Jesus to come down and die, we would have never been brought back, and he would have never forgiven us and given us his knowledge.
So you guys are here empowering the 12
so-called,
tribes of
the
Israel.
so-called
Yeah, right
Negroes,
on.
West Indians.
Right on. That's awesome. I think it's great. I think it's a great message.
It says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage. So meaning we're going to stop from our heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. We didn't know America. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger which shall burn forever. So the Lord was pissed at us. That's why he did that. That's why we was destroyed so bad like that. He was pissed. Because I chose you to be my people, and then you don't want to listen, you want to sacrifice unto other gods, and so he punished us.
Fascinating. This makes sense now because my friend has been on quite the little tangent about being a lost tribe of Israel,
Well,
and
you
I'm like,
should tell her to come out here.
well, she lives in New York, so she's reconciled it. You know, but she was for a very long time. She was like going off on really off the deep end, almost it seemed like, in this pursuit of the lost tribe of Israel connection. So yeah, right on.
He put the spirit on her. I'm gonna get that to you real quick.
That's interesting.
Joel chapter 2 verse 27. And you shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days that I pour out my spirit. That's why she was in such a pursuit to find out who she was, because he put the spirit on her.
Almost
Because
to a
we
point
didn't
of
know who we
OCD.
was. I thought I was an African.
Right.
But I found out in 70 AD when Vespasian Titus sacked Jerusalem, I fled into Africa.
That's fascinating.
You know what I mean?
guys.
So
Well, God bless you. I think it's a wonderful message that you have, and I'm familiar with probably 80% of what you said, but this part I was not. So I appreciate your edifying my spirit today. And
these have to deal with a lot of deep breakdowns in Genesis 49 to tell you how this tribe is that, how that tribe is that.
oh yeah, no
So
doubt.
I mean, if you want to come out here next time, we can show you how this tribe is that tribe is that. You know,
I believe
all
you.
the way down.
I believe you. It makes sense. If that.
Oh, I got one right here.
Right.
This Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. The cry of Jerusalem is going up. Now, if you look at that word black up in the Hebrew, it's dark, meaning dark skin. Let you know the Jews are black. So those people over there in Israel are imposters. Right? They're gonna be removed from that land.
Oh, they're gonna be removed.
Yeah.
I just go ahead and read another one too. This, Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 21. This
That's
is Jeremiah.
that what you just said. That's a pretty hard pill to swallow. Not for me necessarily, but generally.
What he just read?
No, what you just said. They're gonna be removed from that land.
Oh,
That's a
They are, yeah.
that's a pretty
They
hard
got to
pill
get
to
up
swallow.
out of there. Yeah,
Well, especially if you think of the politics of the day, and I don't mean a hard pill for me to swallow, a hard pill for many people, because if you look at the politics
Well, the Lord
of today,
Yeah. It didn't say the Lord.
we're a country that supports Israel. I mean, you realize that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like little guinea pigs.
Right.
You know.
Jeremiah chapter 8.
Yeah, I don't know. I trust God, and I know that God has got it, and all I have to do is worry about what I can do in service to God. Right?
Yeah. First thing you can do is it's follow dietary laws. Can't eat pork, no shrimp, nothing, no crustaceans. You're gonna eat fish that have fins and scales. You know what I'm saying? Also,
Hold on. Dietary laws: no pork.
you can read.
Basically, no meat.
No, you can eat meat.
I can eat
goat, beef, fish, chicken.
I can eat beef,
turkey,
chicken,
lamb.
no fish.
Yeah, you can eat fish that have fins and scales.
Okay, so
Yeah.
groupers, okay.
Yeah, no catfish.
Okay.
Like, they're
Okay,
flying
no
in and
catfish.
having scales.
I wouldn't eat those anyways.
Right. So they're like barbecues too.
This Lamentations 4 and 8.
Okay, I'm gonna check out the dietary laws. I'll do that because I'm down with that. That sounds
Leviticus chapter
good.
11.
Is the dietary laws? Okay.
Their visage is blacker than a coal, meaning visage, meaning how they look, blacker than a coal. You know, it lets you know that the Israelites were so-called a dark black people.
That's awesome, guys. This is probably more edifying than the church service I just went to. But they preached on humility, which I think is always a good thing.
Earlier, what I said earlier, I said you could
It's the first time she ran into the truth.
Yeah, but I said within 5 minutes you can see somebody more than what they were taught 5 months in the college.
Yeah.
Harvard, Yale, Stanford.
Well, and I'm an anthropology student at USF St. Pete.
Probably not something you
Anthropology is the study of other cultures, and so that gives me the kind of mind that's curious about what you guys have to say. And I also have a curiosity when it comes to various faiths. I'm a comparative religions student, which has a tendency to affect a lot of thinking of mine. What do you think about the Mormons, guys? I'll tell you first before you answer that. I'll answer that. I went on an archaeological dig in Belize through my school, and I spent a month my roommate was a Mormon. I spent a month with her, and I have to say that I've never been more impressed by a religious person than I was this person, honestly, and that's the truth.
But in the Book of Mormon, they say for someone to have dark skin, they say that's a curse, and it also and they also make them wear spiritual underwear.
Dark skin and woolly hair is a curse, so it's the complete opposite of the Bible.
Okay, fair enough.
And it also said that dark-skinned people are good for nothing but slaves.
In the Book of Mormon?
Yeah, yes, in the Book of Mormon. And also,
I'm guessing they probably made things a little bit more relevant. Oh no, because they have separate congregations for black Mormons, don't they?
But see,
isn't that true?
Yeah, but see, that's another thing. How people going off into different doctrines. The Most High say He's betrothed to us, He's married to us. And wisdom is referred to as a woman. So if you go after a different knowledge, you chase a different.
So that's what got us in this.
That's what got us in this
predicament the first time.
Interesting. Well, I can see that.
I mean, think about it. Even after the Most High brought us out of Egypt, and we saw His power, all His works. What did they do when Moses went into Mount Sinai for 40 nights? Aaron collected all the gold and molded the calf.
The app is full.
Oh, I know, right?
The app is full.
After all His works, they still wanted to be out of it.
And people often had their little altars, and they had little golden calves on their altars.
Yeah.
They found this in archaeological digs. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah, from Egypt. And they said this is
Intermingled different religions and faiths. No, I've got a deal. I'm definitely my faith is not changing by any means, but I'm definitely curious on an intellectual and scholarly level about the way ancient cultures and present day cultures worship, for
Well,
sure.
we don't want to hold it too long, but the main thing is America's gonna be destroyed by nukes, led by the Russians. They're gonna shoot nukes on America, and this is happening right now. Russia and America are going at it.
Yeah.
So we living in World War III right now. This is gonna happen. When the Bible talks about fire, it's talking about those nukes, that nuclear fire. America's gonna be destroyed, and we're gonna be delivered out of here, man. Egypt is gonna be done, destroyed.
Awesome.
And we're gonna get delivered out of here, man.
Yeah.
We in World War III right now, so
when I've seen on the news lately the subject of ISIS and ISIL and Russia and we're like right now we're in 100. The United States is in 134 undeclared wars around the world.
Yep.
I'm
tired of that.
I'm just gonna be bold. America's gonna be destroyed. They're gonna be race wars out here. They're gonna implement full martial law. We're already in the martial law.
There's a lot of people that are saying that.
And also they're gonna implement
a lot of people that are
this is
saying
the mark
that.
of the beast right here.
The RFID chip.
This is why we put all of our faith into Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi. That's the Most High's name, and that's His Son's name. The Most High is not dealing with anyone that doesn't follow His doctrine to the T. We try to to the best of our ability to the doctrine. If people who go to churches, they're going against the Most High's word. And the Acts says, "How be the Most High, well, not in people made with hands. The Most High dwells within your God's."
I agree.
This is church right here.
This is church right here. This is actually my favorite kind of church.
Because if you go to Matthew, Christ didn't go into the synagogues and preach. He went one time. Why? Because the Jews were in there and they condemned him.
Yep. He put the table over all that
Put the table
stuff,
over
man.
and everything. He always was out and about, just like Paul. If Paul just had a church, he would have had one book really in the New Testament. He had a book for Galatia. He had
Right.
a book for Corinthians.
Right.
He kept moving. He was
Right.
nomadic.
Yeah.
He always preached out in the open.
Right.
So this is what we're supposed to be.
RFID chip that they're gonna implement when the dollar collapse. Everybody gonna run for this chip. They can if you wanna eat, if you wanna do any.
Yeah, I've been reading a little bit about that lately
It's gonna be
too.
chipped, and that's known as the mark of the beast in the Bible. If
I
you
know.
get that, you're done.
You're done. You're dead.
When I grew up in the 80s, they had I was going to I went to Methodist, but also I used to sneak behind my parents' back and go to Church of God, and which is a Pentecostal-ish church.
He was always seeking knowledge.
Yeah, that's all it was.
And they used to bestow upon us youth groups the Mark of the Beast movies, and there was quite a few of them in the 1980s, so I'm familiar with this. And as soon as I started seeing this pop up on the internet, talk of it, immediately my mind went to these 1980s.
Well, I'm going to read an excerpt right now out of the Bible.